What's up, Chesticles?
What up? We got Mr. Greg Sparks, Mr. Alan Baramovich.
What's up?
Thank you for letting me say your last name however I wish each time I say it.
Yeah, it's always something new. You could just go with PJ. It's fine. But
PJ the old man.
episode 2, we actually got together again. We didn't wait 6 years to film a second one here.
I mean, we did wait a long time to start, so we might as well keep it rolling now.
Yeah.
You don't want to get the rock stuck, dude. You just got to keep letting it roll downhill.
And Greg, I got to thank you for keeping your garage up and running here. You didn't take anything down, so that was nice. Made it easier.
No problem, man.
We didn't get kicked out.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
I pay my wife rent.
Nice. Things are working.
I thought it would be cool to talk about ITC. Last time we talked about Adepticon. Did a whole episode on that. And just high level, just kind of what we thought about team and singles. And ITC changed officially. It's done. And we could talk through some of the...
I've got the missions up. I've got the changes to the missions.
Yeah, let's go through that.
And then we'll talk a little bit about strategy, difference to what the new basically what the new mission strategies are. And then we'll talk about our armies that we took to LVO and changes that we'll make and or the playstyle changes that we'll make based on the new mission structure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think the biggest thing in the initial setup is the fact that there's no more Cs. So whoever wins the role chooses to be attacker or defender, and whoever the attacker is sets up everything and just is going first. And then the defender rolls for deployment, and they get a reroll. So if they don't like, basically, if you're playing something very assaulty, they will, they get Dawn of War, Pointy Dawn, they'll just reroll to try to get one of the longer deployments. And
Which is huge, by the way.
Well, that's a big thing. I've actually had like a lot of discussion with a lot of other top players, and a lot of the guys think that second is a huge deal. And it is, but it's a huge deal if you get a good deployment. I think that the shallow deployments are very good for the attacker.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I also think you have to, if you don't have an army list that can take advantage of going second, I think you're going to have a hard time, right?
See,
so you kind of have to have a list that's built to somewhat hide and be okay with hiding.
Well, that's the thing though, is because once you go second though, you always know that you're gonna what your opponent killed and what your opponent held. So you always have the opportunity to take one more, kill more. As the first player, you can. Basically, you get an objective. Your opponent knows that they need to take that one objective from you. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to take that from you. So you get a big advantage on that because you can get basically an extra point a turn almost is what it turns out to be, because you get a very good chance to get to kill more. You know when you have to push, and you also know exactly how many you get to take.
Yeah. Assuming that like going for the extra one though, even though you know that one more would get you the extra point or so and so forth, but you could be in a situation where it leaves you too vulnerable. So it's not always a positive, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You have more information, and having more information is strong. Yeah.
So,
but re-rolling that deployment though it makes it even better.
I think the defender should probably choose. Actually, I don't think they should choose. I think they should just be able to ban.
That's too strong, man. Because there's only like really 3, right?
I mean,
there's really only 3 deployments.
2 Dawns. You got 2 Dawns, 2 Hammers, Spearhead, and Vanguard.
Yeah.
And the only ones you don't want are effectively the Dawns.
Yeah, the Dawns.
Spearhead's it's pretty close still. You're 18 inches away.
Yeah, but think about the probability though. The moment that you ban one of the 2 Dawns, you're all of a sudden it's 5 maps with only,
I wouldn't go with a reroll. I'd just go with a straight banning.
That's what I'm saying. So you ban one, right? So let's say you ban one, right? So now you just have 5 maps instead of 6, and you're basically guaranteed, 80% of the chance you're not playing the one that you don't want to play. That's pretty high.
True.
The reroll, I don't know what the math is in the reroll, but it's probably also kind of high in the reroll for the most part.
I mean, you got 2 Dawns in that. I mean, it just depends on what you're playing too.
Yeah.
Because some armies just can't capitalize on that.
Well, you have like a 33% chance to roll one of those Dawns, right? And then you get to re-roll it. So it's a 33% chance again. So it's 2 of those. So,
but it's smaller then because of the fact you get on there. All right. Game length didn't change. How you score really didn't change. Secondaries are primaries actually changed a little bit. They actually didn't change as much. What they did change is how easy it is to score the bonuses now. They changed for instance, the hold 3. I'll do those one at a time. Then we'll just go through the missions itself.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Secondaries changed a decent amount. You now take 1 from seek and destroy, and 1 from maneuver, and then you take a wild card. Basically, your third one could be from either, but you have to take 1 from seek and destroy and 1 from maneuver. You can't pile up on them.
Yep.
The new ones, they have the old ones, old school, same as before. Headhunter, same thing. The new Born for Greatness, I don't know how I feel about that. I think like a Tau character could be really strong.
What is that one?
Born for Greatness, you choose 1 single model character, and every time you get 1 point for every time it accomplishes either destroy an enemy unit that does not have the character keyword, destroying an enemy character, deny an enemy psychic power, hold an objective outside of your deployment zone, heroically intervene, and begin and end a battle round wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So you got a lot of things that you can do because, for instance, like a Tau commander or something, he could easily accomplish taking an objective, killing a unit, maybe killing a character, and eventually he'll just move up.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about jump captains with that one.
Well, the only thing with the jump captain is he probably is going to die, so he's gonna get 2 or 3 of those. I don't know if this is a 4-point objective for me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because, well, you're always playing super aggressive with your jump captain.
Yes.
I assume some people might play with him as a
Mine's kind of a suicide bomber.
Yeah, instead of playing suicide bomber, maybe you play him as more of kind of like a counterattack unit. He's kind of just chilling in a block.
Yeah,
of
that's what I was thinking,
dudes
like a Tau commander type guy. I mean, they could also do it with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of HQs can get that one though. So that
especially guys with just guns though.
It's a cool
just shoot.
Yeah, it's a cool change. I like that. I like that secondary. And it's named really well too. What was that? Born for Greatness?
Born for Greatness.
I like it.
I actually chose that in a local RTT lately, a week or so ago. Basically, my opponent, Snigs, and I played in a tournament, and we made a gentleman's agreement that both of our warlords had to choose Born for Greatness. And we both got 2 points because we killed each other like instantaneously.
Sad.
Yeah. It was very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Born for Greatness for about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
and then you're dead.
Not great.
Marked for Death had a change because they took it down to 100 points for the value instead of the higher value they used to be. So now
Marked for Death was like power level 7, right? And higher?
Yeah. Now it's just a 100-point unit, which opens up a ton of units to be.
Yeah, what's a Thunderfire cannon?
Not yet, 92. But you can do like infiltrators, which are 110, things like that. Like, there's a lot of things that come out. Gangbusters, same as before, 6 wounds on a
kill some sense
models. Yeah,
Got it.
Kill Centurions. Big Game Hunter changed a little bit. It's 1 point for every 10 cumulative wounds dealt to enemy units with monster, Titanic, or vehicle. A little bit easier. Butcher's Bill, same as before. Reaper, they changed for every 20 wounds of infantry or drone models destroyed. 1 point. So Reaper's actually not models anymore. It's straight wounds, which is super easy to get. You can get it off sense and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only thing is like just like before, you can't double up on a lot of these. You can't get the same thing they gave you Mark, can't give you other things.
Yeah, but can you take Mark and Gangbusters, and then if your opponent has like, I don't know, 15, 18 cents, you might have, plus other stuff, you might have enough there to get.
No, well, you can't choose the same things. Once a model is removed from units, you choose to count it towards your Reaper secondary objective. That unit may not score points for another seek and destroy secondary objective. So you can't double up on them.
Got it.
Otherwise, that would be just super easy. You could do Reaper and Gamebusters and Centurions like all day long.
Yeah.
Then you've got the maneuver ones, which are all significantly easier to score than they used to be. So Recon, you have a unit partially in every table corner at the end of your player's turn. And then you only can count them once for each table corner. You get 1 point per turn. Starting on turn 2, however, this is the big thing. A lot of these are tier 2. You can get 2 points. If you have 2 units in every table corner, 2 points. So you can literally just get Recon in 2 turns if you're being aggressive.
You can get it 2 and 3.
Right, 2 and 3. Same thing with behind enemy lines. You can, starting on 2, if you have 3 or more non-flyer battlefield units entirely in your opponent's deployment zone, 2 points. So if you're playing in a very assault, very aggressive army, you can score Recon, behind enemy lines, and then King of the Hills the same way. It is first turn, you can get 1, but on 2 beyond, if you have 2 units that are in any combination, basically within, you can take it. But then if you have multiple units within 9 inches of the center with King of the Hill, 2 points. So
Okay.
literally, if you take the middle of the board, King of the Hill, super easy objective. You can cap it, boom. Because even if your opponent makes his counter charge, you've already, got your 4. So engineers, you can also now score 2 points if you have 2 engineers instead of the 1 point per.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so both of them get 2. So that's just easy.
So killing engineer targets is even more important.
100%. Ground control is the same thing, 1 point per at the end of the game. The biggest thing is.
Oh, but no, I think ground control changed actually. I think now you can get max if you just control all the objectives now. Right? So if there's like 2 objectives or just 3, you still get 4.
If you score all, it's still a max.
Yeah,
so
that wasn't like that before though.
correct.
Yeah,
So you
that's a big
never
deal.
took ground control when in the 3 objective mission.
Yeah.
Because you were going to take probably 2 at,
Yeah, but now if you're like,
if you're crushing, yes.
yeah.
Sappers, nobody takes sappers.
What's sappers? I don't even know what it is.
Dude, it's so long. I'll just read it to you.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So basically, you can run up, turn an objective off. They can't get hold 1 off that objective. However, you can't attack anybody with that sapper unit. So it's like really hard to do because you have to go up and take an objective that you're trying to deny something from somebody. So,
But do you score the objective or no? No one scores the objective.
now you just turn it off.
0 people score the objective.
Right. It's
Interesting.
just in my favorite new one is the Postman. Select a single model from your army that does not have the vehicle, monster, or Titanic keyword to be the Postman. The model may choose to gather intel on an objective within 3 inches that you control at the end of your turn. You may only gather intel from each objective once per game, and then you get 1 point per time you do that.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're just making a grand tour of all the objectives on the board, it's kind of funny.
By the way, Greg, that Postman seems like a movie you would have watched.
I've never seen the whole thing.
Never seen the whole thing?
Really?
Nope.
I could see you Kevin Costnering it up.
Yeah, dude. That's like a typical Kevin Costner.
Greg
kind of
Sparks literally
I didn't never watch a lot of movies.
literally remaking after the apocalypse, remaking the post office because he wants things to be more organized.
movie. Yeah, it's a solid film. As in, like, it's crap, but I love it.
Some of the bonuses have gotten a lot easier.
Yeah. Walk. Let's walk through those.
Actually, before you go to that, couldn't they have come up with a better name than Sapper?
Sappers. No, they sap the objective.
I know, but
They're sapping.
it's,
They're making
I
the
mean,
objective
they could have called it
useless.
being a dick on the objective.
You know-
'cause
you
that's
know-
basically what you're doing is you're trying
it just sounds like such a bad name.
it's
Yeah,
sappy.
They lack
sappy.
creativity in that name.
I think they spent all their creativity with some of the other names because they're pretty legit.
Yeah.
The Sapper one's not bad. I just think
Dude,
I
Born
think
for
this
Greatness.
is-
It's an interesting.
Okay, ready? Sapper is minus 0.5, but Born for Greatness is +2. So
Sure.
we're still way up.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Still up. So let's go over the bonuses because the bonuses did change and they are much easier to take. In scenario 1, Seize Ground, that is a 6 objective mission. If a player holds or contests 4 or more objectives at the end of their player turn, that's the bonus. That is super easy to do comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
Hold or contest. You literally just get into some combats, boom, you got an extra point. Cut to the Heart. It's the 3 objective mission. And that became way much easier to do because it used to be hold your, 2 of them, but one of them had to be your opponent's the one, which is super hard to do in the first place because it's way deep in their deployment. If a player controls the center objective and the objective they placed at the end of their player turn, 1 point. So easier. It's still in your opponent's, but you can now, you used to basically you deployed one in your deployment zone and your opponent deployed one in theirs. Now you deploy the one in your opponent's deployment zone. So you can put it way up and in the open. So it's actually something you can actually achieve way easier. So mission 3, Nexus Control, 4 objectives. The bonus is if a player holds both objectives outside of either player's deployment zone at the end of their turn, 1 point.
Okay.
Scenario 4, 5 objectives. The bonus point is if a player controls both of the objectives they placed on the table at the end of their turn, 1 point. And they basically, you rotate placing the objectives, so a little bit different on that. Most of them are a little bit. Precious Cargo, which is the one where you have 5 objectives, one in each board corner in the center, and then one in the center, and then you choose one of them that is your precious cargo, and then you can move it back at the start of the game. If the player holds their opponent's primary objective at the end of their player turn, or this is where it changed it because it used to just be that one.
Yeah, you got to control the one they moved.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's or holds 3 or more objectives. bonus point. And it's so much easier to hold just 3 than to hold your opponents.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's much easier. I actually scored the bonus 4 out of 6 rounds in the game that I played this.
Well, that one's hard. That one's really hard because typically people just pick the objective that's in their deployment zone and then like move it back.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But now you can just control any 3, which is way different. It's so much easier because you take most of the board.
Maybe you move yours towards other objectives and then try to castle up on them.
I debated on that. I left mine way back, and then I took the center and the other one that was I think I rerolled spearhead. So basically, I moved up onto the one in the basically would be the northeast quadrant.
Yeah,
and then I took the middle. So I
Yeah.
had 3, and I just boom bonus. It's so much easier than it used to be. So last one is the Crucible of Champions. It is 5 objectives. And the bonus is if a player has 3 models with a character keyword and scoring range of 3 different objectives, 1 point, which is exactly the same as it used to be.
I like that mission. That mission's good.
Yeah. But the they changed the bonus points on a significant amount of those to be a lot easier to take. And I actually think that's pretty cool because it rewards you for taking the board and being aggressive. Because the secondaries are so much easier to take right now, in my opinion, after playing some missions, I played in a local RTT as soon as this came out. And it seemed like everybody was getting 12 on secondaries. Because you just pick something like King of the Hill, Engineers, boom. Turn 3, you're already done with your Engineers, 4 points. Oh, King of the Hill, 2 and 3, 4 points. Everybody was just getting max secondaries. I mean, I was smashing some people, and they were still getting huge secondary points. Yeah. And Reaper's so much easier to get because it's not models anymore. It's actual wounds
counted.
So, like, you're basically looking at 2 for every intercessor. You know what I mean? That's towards your Reaper count.
Well, that change was good because with the number of Primaris Marines and everything out there, it was
Primaris
Reaper
Marines and like
becoming very
multi-wound
problematic.
models and shit like that. I mean, there's 3 and 4 wound 2, 3, 4 wound models.
Yeah.
Everything from intercessors, aggressors, centurions. 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? It shouldn't account as the same as killing a grot for 1 model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 wounds in is good then.
I like that change. That's a really good change. I do think, though, that I've always thought this about ITC. I think that the secondaries are generically kind of accessible to allow for games that appear to be closer than they truly are. Because I think the ITC as an organization and Frontline as an organization are trying to make sure people have fun at the tables. And when someone walks away from a table and the score is 0 to 25, they just don't feel good.
I get you on that. And I also think that it feels good if you score points, even if you're losing.
Correct. Yeah.
You still accomplished a goal while you were playing.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think they should be a little bit harder, because right now it seems that it's only coming down to primaries, which was why I think that the going second, if you get decent board, is such a huge thing. Because if you and I are playing right now, and I guarantee you and I are both going to get 12 points for secondaries, if I score an extra 1 on 2 or 3 turns, that's probably the game.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels weird because everybody's going you can't, I don't know if you can really take lists anymore that really deny, which is okay because I did kind of hate people metagaming their lists specifically to try to deny secondaries.
That was the whole thing. That was the whole thing.
So I like that more. I don't know. I'm torn. You know what I mean? It's like it seems too easy, but it also I hated the fact that people were making lists just to deny ITC secondaries. You know what I mean?
So I think people are still going to do that. I think you're still going to have a ton of people who are going to try to metagame that as much as possible and deny those secondaries. But like I said, I still think a lot of games really come down to primary and like the secondaries that people do get, they get them because their opponent realized that they're going to win the game anyways. So they're kind of open. Like you're not going to go and kill engineers, right? Because you're winning the primary. So you're like, whatever, I'm going to get 12. They're going to get their engineer points. I'm not going to go out on a limb.
Sure, but I'm going more in the closer games, I guess.
Yeah, I understand you're going in the closer games. Yeah, I think at top table, yeah, you're going to have more like fine tuning of that whole kind of thing. But I think in general, by making some of these secondaries a little bit more accessible, you get the majority of people who walk away from the game going, it's 27-23. I had a great game. It was awesome, and they're going to have a fun time regardless. They got 23 points and they're happy about it. Whereas I think some of the other people who play, I would say me, and I'd say a lot of other people who probably are similar to me, When they lose, right? Like, I had a great game. I'm always going to have a good game regardless. But if I lose by 1 point or I lose by 27 points, for me, it's still a loss. I like, don't care. Yeah, I still lost. So, like, I don't look at the score.
Sure, because it's not a battle point system most of the time anyways.
Yeah, yeah. So, and when it is
I get
battle
you on
points,
that.
then it's totally different, right? Then people, like,
My
go for blood.
The biggest thing on that, to tell you the truth, with a lot of these games coming down to primary, I think that the stress that we haven't really talked about on our podcast, but we talked about a lot personally, and I've talked about it. The playing by intent is going to be a big deal on that, because I think there's going to be a lot of gotcha moments. If you're only basically if high level top table games go down to only primary, you're really going to not want to win. At least I wouldn't want to win on you trying to hide a model that you said you intended on playing it, and then all of a sudden I say I can see your hand, or you forget to do an assault that you clearly told me you were going to make.
Yeah,
stuff
so
like
I
that.
think let's talk about that actually. Do you want to dive into that?
I do, actually, because I think it's gonna be a big thing in the upcoming tournament circuit. I mean, it's always a big thing in the tournament, but I think it's going to be more, because if you're only focused on just a few points separating every game in primaries, in top tables, say mid on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the talent level, the experience level of a lot of games are going to be determined, new players and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about the top tables, the games are going to be decided by a hair's breadth. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, like, look at, and this is with our secondaries and stuff like that. I mean, just my LVO. I mean, I tied the final game, and I went down to just victory points in that. And that, I think that's going to be more and more, because it's going to come down to a few primary points, because I think people are going to have an easier time maxing their secondaries. So let's talk about.
I think once. I mean, yeah, I want to talk. Let's talk about this intent thing, and it's gonna be interesting, especially coming from me, because I'm all about intent. I literally don't care what people do in the game. I'll let them do whatever they want for the most part, as long as it's within reason. I mean, at ATC, my last game at ATC last year, I was playing someone from down south, from the Atlanta area, and they forgot to deploy every Venom in their army. They just deployed flyers, right? So it was a Dark Eldar army with Venoms and Ravengers. And they just put the Dark Eldar flyers on the board. And then in the middle of the first turn's psychic phase, after movement, it was like, you forgot to put all of your regular stuff on the board.
You insta lose.
And like I was like, no, just put it. And I was like, just put it on. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
That's a
Right?
little bit
Like,
different than intent, though, because.
So like that's where I want to talk about, like, where do you draw the line? And
well, the thing is I used to get yelled at all the time by Mr. Sparks over here, because he basically always told me that I let too much stuff go. And my thing is that I want to have a good time. So I think I would rather err on the side of letting people do more things so I can continue to have a good time. I don't want to just give wins
So it's
away.
a slippery slope, though, because I don't want to use this one game as a reference. I can use a bunch of games as a reference. But I did that, right? I was like, dude, just put your whole army on the board. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to move my guys and shoot my orcs and stuff, right? But then later in the game, when I was like a millimeter out of a range, right? Like I got my invulnerable save on a guy, and it's like 6 inches. The dude I was playing is like, nah, you're out, man. And it's literally like a millimeter.
But that's the thing is you have to, at the beginning of the game, I'll use the LVO game I played when I was playing Siegler. We basically talked before. He's a really nice dude. And we talked before the game. We're like, hey, how do you want to play this game? And I go, I am 100%. I want to play by intent. If you want to do something, we're going to do it. You know what I mean? If you want to be out of range of whatever, and it's possible, or you don't want to be seen, that's it.
I think that's the key word. Is it possible? Because I had a lot of games where, like, I had my opponent in game 5 for me or maybe it was 4 at LVO. I played against those big repulsor tanks, the ones that shoot like a ton, right? The Space Marine ones. And yeah, exactly, yes. And he wanted to move it like 5 inches and then get line of sight on something. Like the whole game, he's like, I'm going to move it here 5 inches and get line of
sight.
So he can double
shoot the big
correct, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if it's possible, man. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't think it's possible. And I'm like kneeling down, and I'm looking at like 8, 9 inches, and it's not possible. So he ends up moving the whole thing 10. We put dice and stuff so that everything's like legit. And I think either Root or one of the other TOs, maybe even Salty John, was by the table that whole game for the most part. And they're like, no, you still can't see it. You know, so like he was asking, like, I want to talk about the intent here, because possible is a word you just said. And I think it's super key, because he's like, oh, I'm going to move 5 and I'm going to shoot that. And I'm like, I don't think you can, you know? And it just made the whole game's tone change. all of a sudden.
It will always make the game change.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I understand it's going to with some, but playing by what you want. What I really mean by that is, I'm playing Greg right now, and I go, hey Greg, I'm going to move my 5 intercessors. I don't want to be seen by your repulsor executioner, okay? And I go, I put the tape measure down, and I put his measurement that he has. Can you see me here with this movement? Yes or no? If he says no, then we don't bother with that. Even if like somehow the model gets, you know what I mean, gets bumped or whatever. I don't want to in the middle of his shooting phase to go, oh, I can see the tip of that guy's finger. You don't want to play like that. And I was saying, that's why I was saying the singular game on that. We had a couple things that were like that. He's like, we had movements or other things that it was always just the intent of, I don't want to be seen here. So, and he's like, I don't want to be in range of your snipers. Cool. Even if somehow it got shifted, anything that happened, you know where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Same
you put them in
thing.
the right spot. Like the game we had at ATC.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I'm going to cast a psychic power. I'm like, well, you're in deny range. And you're like, well, I'm just going to go here. Then I'm out of deny range. I'm like, yeah,
Well,
you're good.
Well,
Because you would never know. You would never knowingly move into
well,
it.
we already talked about it, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in deny range.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You said that.
That's what I'm saying. If your opponent and you declare your action, that's why I say play by intent. If you declare, I'm playing Sparks, he goes, I don't want to be in your deny range.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we basically motion, and somehow his model's 23.8. You know what I mean? And slightly in. We're just going to put it back because he explained what he was trying to do, and maybe we goofed the measurements up because it was over top of a building or you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah. I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think
it's what your opponent and you declare. You don't need to give people like a ton of takebacks or anything. What you do is have to say, if you declared to do something, let them do that. You know what I mean? They said specifically, I'm going to make this charge. I'm going to do this. I don't want to be. I want to be inside of this. I want to be in range of my aura.
So
with
here
you had your buff aura.
Yeah.
I would just be move the model, the half inch, the whatever,
The millimeter.
whatever.
It's like
No, I'm
craziness.
saying, but I'm saying whatever the small movement is.
Yeah. I got you.
Just if you declared that as your intent, you don't need to give takebacks, a million takebacks. You know, if somebody didn't do something, they didn't do something. You know, it's a full turn later. But if somebody declared that this is what I want to do, I want to be out of range of your guy. I want to be out of line of sight of your guy. I want to make this charge. I want to be inside this aura. If it's possible with we pre-measure everything, if it's possible to be in that aura, cool. You're in that aura.
So I think a lot of people, I love what you're talking about, and that's definitely how I play. And I think people would find it surprising that the top tables, like you're playing against any of the big names in the game, they would all be pretty much cool with that for the most part. I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of them would be very cool with playing by intent. The majority of them.
I think that
where you come into a problem though
mid-tables
is mid-tables.
Yeah.
Mid-table players aren't going to do that. Mid-table players are there to win. They want to win.
But you are winning. But the problem is do you want to win by a bullshit technicality, or do you want to win? Do you want to go later when we go out and we're at the bar, the restaurant, whatever, and we're talking about the game? Do you want to have an epic conversation about how you Yahtzeed ones, or you made a 12-inch charge either way, or your opponent's dice were big and yours were, and it was a great game and you really played well and you got a good win, maybe luck went your way? Or do you want to go, hey, Greg made his guy so I could barely see him even though he declared he wasn't, and also didn't move his charge even though he already declared he wanted to move that charge? Is that how you want to? That's not any fun. I mean, that's literally no fun.
Not fun for no one. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, that's the worst.
But it happens.
Terrible. Yeah, but like, there's no story for that. There's no glory. There's no fun. It's a game that we're supposed to be playing.
So I'm gonna steel man
go
that
on.
one. If you've ever read the article "Playing to Win" by Sir Lin, you don't make excuses for making mistakes, and you play the game to win. There's different philosophies. Like if you're a pro player, do you beat the scrub? Do you beat the person that is just a beginner, and do you just grind them into the ground as much as you can, or do you try to coach them along or whatever? And now when you're talking about that, when somebody forgets to do something, it'd be like playing in video games. If they forgot a move, they're not going back to be able to get that move.
Right, but it's a different concept though.
It's a social game.
We're playing a social game,
like
and you
for
have
3 hours I have
and
to
you
stare
have
at your face.
if you have a social contract with me, I feel you have an obligation to me to not be an asshole And for
Sure.
me to have I'm playing a game with toy soldiers. You have an obligation to me to basically give me an opportunity to have fun.
How far do you take that? And again, I'm taking a look at this from the opposite point of view.
No, we'll say,
You say
in
you're 1
competitive.
millimeter out, and I'll give you an example. I've had a game where they were basically like, I felt the charge was short by like say 1 or 2 millimeters.
That's fine.
So
That's
now
not an
that
intent.
they-
That's fine. If
That's-
you're short on a
that's-
charge,
that's
you're
not-
short on a
that's
charge.
not intent,
You should
right?
pre-measure before the roll is made, right?
We're,
you
we're,
know,
trying,
right?
we're trying to say that
Intent. Yeah, I got you.
the intent, like basically, he's saying, I want to be within my reroll ones when my Centurions are charging. Okay, we decided that
Sure.
that is possible, and in the course of moving that, I'm now 6.1 inches away. Okay, just adjust the Centurion back.
Right, just a little bit.
That's what I'm saying about
Yeah.
intent. Don't be a total asshole about that. You want to wrap my unit. You said you can see that it is, and we're on clock. We're trying to move.
fast.
And all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
the
I go,
clocks are
I want to,
brutal.
I have 5 guys, and I have 3 inches of movement, and we agreed. Like,
Right.
for instance, I
So
would go
in
again to my
telling
LVO
somebody
game.
ahead of time,
No, that's
this is what you
my
want.
LVO game, for instance, I went to charge, and Siegler knew what I was doing. I rolled a line. I was basically going to wrap this unit. I declared it because it's the closest in case I didn't roll enough to go to the back. So I went to the unit I want to do assault, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to kill this unit on my left, and I want to wrap this unit on my right. Do I have the range for it? And we just literally
You just measure it.
put out the
Yeah.
models, and that's it. I let him just do it at the end, because if you have the range, but because I'm on a clock, I slightly don't tri-point the model.
Right.
Come on, man.
It's taking an extra
Hey, I
amount of
got out,
time
man.
or
That's what I'm
whatever.
saying. I'm out. I can get shot, and he's not going to do that. I mean, he played a great game against me. You know what I mean? Dude's a cool dude. But
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
saying,
I don't know him that well, but he seems like a really cool guy.
a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Very good player too. But I'm saying, like, I basically said, I want to do this. Can I do it? We measured it out. Yes.
That's
Now
great.
it wasn't
That's good.
where the models end up. Oh, I'm not tri-pointed. No, he just, cool. We already know that it was possible. You get this many attacks here. If you're going to keep a guy back, cool. And just, that's, okay, move
Yeah,
along.
and I think everyone's going to be different on this intent question, right? So, like, the cleaner you play and the cleaner your game is, I would say that you don't have to give as much if you don't want to, right? Because if you're playing a super clean game and you're holding yourself to a certain standard, then you can. It's totally fine for you to hold your opponent to that standard too. And if they can't do it, then you kind of punish them for it. If that's the way you want to play that, I think that's perfectly okay.
I've seen some people that play that way.
Yeah,
I'm not
So
just not a huge fan of it, just because of the fact that if you wanted, I'm not saying, again, you don't need to give a ton of take back type things.
right.
If somebody messes something up, they messed it up.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yep.
However, if I was playing last year's ATC, I'm playing Rubino, I'm playing Curtin,
yeah, I
the
got
game
you.
team, and literally the final game for the championships. And he set up several charges to come in on me. One of them was to hit one of my Eldar flyers. I was playing the Mech Eldar list. And he came in with a bunch of assaults, and he had Prince with axe that just destroys things, D6 wounds per. He set it up, moved up, basically said, I'm going to charge here, here, and here. Well, he fought two assaults,
And he forgot to
and he
use it.
forgot
Yeah,
to move that guy
That's
in.
totally fine. Yeah.
And I just gave him some shit. I go, oh, man,
Yeah.
I mean, the charge phase
That's-
is already
that-
done during Rubino. And he's like, and I go, I'm just joking. I just picked the plane up. I go, just move your guy to where it needed to be. And I go, because he clearly said here, here, and here. Yes, he fought those other charges. And yes, technically I could have said we're in a different phase, but I'm not going to do that because I think that's a dick move.
That's
because-
exactly what happened to
he-
Rose at SoCal.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
And
He
that's
charged in with Gene Stealers, fought the whole combat, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna charge over here now." And then his opponent was like, "Nah, man, sorry, you can't charge there because
Out of
you're
order of
it's-
operations.
Yeah, it's out of order. I mean, he's right. That is the rules. Those are the rules.
That is the rule, but I'm saying if you've already, but the thing is if you declared it already, you know what I mean? Hey, I want to do this, this, and this, and then you start moving stuff, and you didn't move one thing, but you clearly were going. It's 100% obvious what's going on. You said it.
But the problem is you're not gonna ever have an agreement there all the way, Brad. It's gonna be tough, man.
You will.
And
if
different
more
people are different ways. I'm telling you.
But I'm telling you, if more people play in that thing, if you think you're a good player, okay. And I'm not saying you think you're great. I'm just saying, but if you are a person that practices, you do well, you will win more games playing by intent than you will others, because you won't lose to dumb shit. You won't lose to that. He didn't move his model into my plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that that's happening. But you won't get caught. You won't get bullshit wins. You won't get crappy wins, but you won't get crappy losses. So,
that's only assuming your opponent is playing to the same kind of standards.
Correct,
right?
but that's what I'm saying. But that's my whole thing is that's why I'd like to make this more and more. I'm gonna harp on this a lot.
Yeah.
And every time we talk, basically, I'll probably say something about playing intent. I end every time I talk about anything, anytime I write an article, I always end with, play by intent, roll your dice out. You know what I mean? Just make it everybody feel that you are on the up and you are a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And you will play.
I just think you're going to get an opposition where people are going to say, at the end of the day, it's a game, and if you make a mistake in the game, if the rules are not followed and you're making a mistake in the game, that is literally a gap in your game, and that is an area of opportunity for your opponent to strike.
Sure, but I don't think it's a mistake in the game. I think it's if you said I want to do that you declared it already. If you didn't say anything and you decide later you want to do another move, maybe don't let them do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that if Sparks right now goes, I want to assault units A, units B, and unit C.
Yeah, or they just say like, I lined up all the charges. We're going to do them all, but I'm just going to charge here and start this one off, right? Like
Right.
that's even fine. Like,
Yeah, I just don't.
like that.
I'm just saying once he says what he wants to do,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like with me, and I'll do deep strikes, and I'll say, hey, I'm gonna just place these guys aren't here right now, but I'm placing them so we can move fast, so I don't have to measure out everything exactly.
We won't use the name on it.
Pull that mic up closer to your
Right
face.
there.
I mean, just pull it a little closer.
So things like that, yes, it's things that speed the game up. I would
Yeah.
rather have you just if are you going to deep strike eventually here? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Move your other models, put them on the board where you want to be. We're not even going to go there. But I'm saying like things that the game is
Do you know
literally.
that I love the fact that we're not going there. I know where you don't want to go, but I
Right.
love the fact that everyone in tournament play now, like everyone, brings their deep strikers in, puts them exactly where they want them to be, and then looks you directly in the eyes and goes, "They're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Now I'm gonna take my turn." And then they move all their models. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like,
well, it just sucks because
Oh, it does suck on that.
well, no, because it slows things down if you have to do that. Because if you have to move, everything around, and then because you have to spend a bunch of time figuring out the diameter,
Yeah, yeah,
of them.
Measurements and everything on
Yeah.
that.
If you just put them out first, you know where you have to move. You don't have to dick around because
well, it
you're
was worse
on
back
a
in the
clock.
day. Remember back in the day when you couldn't pre-measure?
Well, that made a difference. I'm just saying.
That's like crazy. Yeah.
But I mean,
No, yeah,
pretty
you
much
are
everything.
on the clock, and that's a whole other conversation I want to have one day. But
But I'm saying if you're already on the clock and I don't want to be clocked. I don't. You know what I mean? So you just want to do things.
I don't have a choice. I just get clocked.
No, I'm just saying. But like, if you're being, you're on a clock already. I'm saying you don't want to waste any more time that doesn't have to do. I want to be able to spend my time making tactical decisions and everything
Yeah,
and playing the game.
I got you.
If moving a model, doing whatever is going to help me out and make the game go a little bit quicker, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, Greg, you can place all your deep strikes. Just put them where you're gonna put them.
Of course, yeah.
Hurry
Doesn't
the game
matter,
up.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I go pretty far, Greg, because like I said earlier, if you're a player who's like really, really clean, maybe you're holding your opponent to the same caliber.
Right.
I'm a sloppy player, so I don't hold my opponent to that kind of a caliber. So like I've been in games where like my opponent like casts all their psychic powers and they have no more casts, right? And then they're like, ooh, I meant to cast something else. My bad. Do you mind if I just say I didn't cast the last thing and I cast this new thing? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, sure. Do you mind if I use the same roll? Yeah, sure, that's fine too. I don't care. What was the roll? It was a 7. Okay, cool. Let me see if I stop.
See, I get yelled at for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know you get yelled at, but like I would totally let that happen. I don't care.
Great.
Like because if they,
I
if they
think a
intended
lot of it for
Papa
me
Greg.
depends on because like before we were practicing for ETC,
yeah, that's a little different.
they were like when you were playing early on when we were over there, they held you to a T.
Yeah, no. ETC is different. When
And-
we're
and-
over
and
there,
you had to
when
get
we're over
into
there,
that
Because
mentality.
ETC has now changed, and I'll give mad props to
yeah,
Neil and crew.
even they got like
No,
more
because
chill.
They
Now you get cards for being
you
a
get
dick.
cards for being a dick now. Because
Back in the old
they-
days, you wouldn't get cards. That was how you
Oh, yeah.
played.
I mean, I lost games here in the U.S. because I held myself to a standard of I will not to ask for a take back or anything.
Yeah, no,
And-
back in like
and yet I
Serbia,
had
Poland,
players-
early Serbia, Poland.
Yeah,
Those
Yeah,
3 years
I
that
would
I
yeah, but
went.
now the game is completely since those guys took over.
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
know, and the judges and stuff. I have better games in ETC than I have almost anywhere. You have to be sports. When we coach new players on that, we tell them you can't do, like for instance, in ETC. It's actually part your responsibility to make sure your opponent brought his display.
yeah, that's how it was for Sigmar. last year. So Sigmar in Serbia was the same way. You had to be like a sportsman the whole time. Actually, France unfortunately did get docked for that. So I was getting yelled at by my captain. Bill came. Actually, it wasn't really Bill. It was actually our coach. So Greg came by. He was the coach of the Team USA. He's like, dude, this guy's cheating you. Stop him from cheating you. And I'm like, man, I don't know how to stop him from cheating me. But he was moving. He was like over consolidating and over moving. And then at one point, Greg just blew it and like just went nuts and started yelling at their coach and their captain, and then got the judges over. And yeah, it basically turned into what you just said, where like they were valued and they were evaluated, and they were found that they were not, trying to make the game fun and trying to take advantage of someone.
That's the thing is they've done. He actually has really put down the hammer. You've seen Neil just like rock people for stuff.
Now it's separate, right? So now is 40K just by itself now? ETC
40K is by itself. It's world. Okay. It's the world team championships now. WTC.
Right. Well, let's meet up on that. Let's talk about that next time we meet. But let's get back on topic. Let's get back to ITC. We did a little segue to intent, which was fun. I don't think you're going to get full commitment there, but I'm all on board on it, and I will be the first to acknowledge that I think intent is the right way to play, because you don't want to win by mistake.
Well, it alleviates a lot of heartburn and heartache at the end of the day.
It's so much more fun. Like I lost my last game at LVO. However, it came down to a set of heartbreak rolls where.
You got the volume too low, Greg.
Give it to me.
Yeah, you suck at this.
I totally did. I wasn't paying attention on it. So we'll get you the next time.
But the point, but I get to talk the story. It's just like infiltrators died to, 9 shots from.
Yeah, it was a cool game. Yeah, you walked into
and then the last turn where I wasn't able to kill the thing. Those are fun games to talk about. Like the dice rolls.
You didn't seem like you were having too much fun there at the end. You were like, God damn it! Why couldn't a single guy live? And I think you said that for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, I was not happy. I'm still a little bummed.
But anyways, what are you doing now? Okay, so we just went through the missions, right? The bonuses have changed. Let me give you my first impression, right? I think you've obviously thought about this more than I have, and probably talked to more people. And you've also played a tournament already with these new missions. I'm all about Adepticon right now, as you heard on the last time we had met for the podcast, and it's in a couple weeks, so we're super excited. And I think based on what you just read for the ITC missions, board control armies are even more important now.
In ITC, I think, yeah. Like, I think that the same type, the missions are very skewed to Adepticon, but the same type of philosophy is going to work. It's not going to work as whole as like Adepticon. You don't care if you have throwaway units. Obviously, you care about that in ITC.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want
to kill
more. Yeah. Because I think a lot of these games are going to come down to kill more. So I think you need survivable board control armies.
Correct.
Are going to be.
I would agree.
What you should take.
But within that, though, I think you also need to consider this new whole non-seas game, right? You're going to have a list that can do 2 things. Hey, I'm going first. I'm going to put a beating on my opponent. Or my opponent wants to go second and is making, or my opponent wants to go first and I'm going to go second. I have to resist a beating from my opponent. So if you get those deployments you were talking about, right, there's a couple armies, right? Raven Guard redeploying, jumping in front of you, shooting you with stuff. Blood Angels just ignoring everything and just running straight at you because they know they're going first, right? So if you don't have Vanguard, Spearhead, Hammer, and you're not able to hide like 42 inches away from people, or at least box out the Raven Guard army so they're ineffective, you're going to get destroyed on turn 1s in any like Dawn of War style deployment.
That's what I really still think, like I say before, you need to be able to, I don't even think it's a reroll. I think you just need to be able to ban. You need a ban.
Does it get too strong then? Because going second's very strong.
It is very strong.
Going second is already very strong.
But also,
if you can now ban deployments, now you're even further away from getting hit with that alpha, right?
So that's why I said I'm a little hit. I don't know how to fix that yet. As far as that,
I don't think it's banning.
But the problem is that you've got a 1 in 3 chance of just getting high rolled by certain armies. If somebody takes all their Blood Angels characters,
it's not necessarily a 1 in 3 because you get to reroll.
You get to reroll,
so it's less. I'm not going to sit here and do the math right now, but it is less.
Sure, but I'm saying basically you've
got and you have to run into an opponent who has an Alpha Strike list too. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of games, like a ton of games now. Think about it. You run up to the table, you see your opponent, and your opponent's army is not an Alpha Strike list.
Then if you win the roll, you're gonna
go second.
You're gonna auto go second.
Auto, like insta. Like, it's not even a question. You're like, oh, you don't have alpha? Cool. I do this.
Tell you the truth, second turn might be too strong.
It might be too strong in those
against
games.
most of those games.
Yeah.
Because I always know what I need to do.
Correct.
And if we're both taking 12 for secondaries, all of a sudden,
The primary becomes the most important.
exactly. And if I can kill more, if I know how much I need to kill, and always know how much I need to take, I'll run up that unit.
Greg, because your mic is actually on the table, talk directly into it.
Yeah.
Forget what I said earlier. Just tilt
Turn it
directly towards you.
It sounded good when you were
Yeah,
doing just straight up.
Yeah,
Right.
just straight up. Yeah, straight up. Good
So
now? Wait, let me hear Greg real quick.
Okay, let's test this.
Yeah, it's better.
it's perfect.
Mark that down on the thing.
What? Straight.
Mark it on the thing.
The time
Okay.
is we got to take that out.
Yeah, I got to do some editing later.
Or we could center the entire podcast on that moment.
Yeah, we could. That could be like the beginning, actually. Forget the.
Okay, it
intro.
does.
It makes a little blue mark on
It
the.
does have. Oh, it does put a blue mark on the. Because I hit it. It doesn't do anything.
Oh, it's gonna mark it. Don't worry.
Okay,
You're fine.
get it.
How
There's
many
like
times
3
did you hit
marks in it now.
Jesus. Okay, well, back
So-
on topic.
So second turn becomes very powerful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do I want something that might be high rolled versus a second turn that's always more powerful?
Yeah. Well, I think I think every list needs to have an ability to strike turn one. If you have an army that just on turn one only takes board, you're always going to go first. Unless you win the roll and you want to go second, but I don't think you do in that case either.
I think that maybe you should be able to get something for going first in some of those. If you could do a ban and then make something worthwhile for first turn. I don't know. If in 4 of the
First turn is only strong if you built an army that can leverage it.
Correct.
You have to build an army. So like first
it's
turn,
not even leverage. You have to have an army that leverages it, and you have to have
a deployment.
a deployment that
Yeah.
you can leverage.
You have to have both. Yeah, you have to have both. And I think have you ever seen somebody deploy an army and like they roll for C's and they get it, but then they look at their deployment and they go, "Oh crap, I'm nowhere." in
Yeah, I'm
position.
nowhere. I should
Yeah,
never have done
I
this.
should never have rolled.
I
it.
literally
And-
hid my entire army.
And they literally look at their opponent. They're like, "Can we pretend I didn't see this?" And their opponent's like, "No,
No.
bro,
Yeah,
go ahead.
you can
It's
now
all
Hey,
take
good."
your-
but you know that's all part of intent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Sure.
intended to roll for
You
C's.
intended to roll for C's. Yeah, I don't know where you're going
Well,
with
he
that
actually
one.
intended not to when he deployed.
See, Greg goes to the extreme. He's like a straw man argument.
He's-
He's like, let your opponent do anything they want. Isn't that intent?
he's just trying to be a dick.
Yeah. Trying? I don't think he's trying.
He's succeeding.
But no, like I'm saying, like if you hypothetically build an army list that can't take advantage of first, your opponents are always going to make you go first. So now you really have to look at that. Anyone who was at LVO like a couple months back or whatever, and was playing, and they had an army list that really couldn't take advantage of a first turn strike, they're going to need to tweak that. I mean, how are you tweaking your list? You have a very first turn strikey
I have
list.
a very first turn
but-
strikey list.
But I think Ravencard are actually not bad going second.
That's the thing is I think the game's easier to play going second. Here's the thing with my list, going second doesn't give me the high roll chance, but it is more consistent going second because I have to basically make calculations. Those units that I'm bringing in are going to die, so I have to go. Is this risk worth the reward that I'm getting back?
Are they getting enough?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and if I go second, I don't have to. I play them and I get the most points, out of them that I can possibly.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah.
So
If they're not getting those points, then it's kind of a hard hit. Like Fennel, me and Fennel played an awesome game at LVO, and he brought his sense down, and I think he did the math similar to what you just said. And I think he was right. I mean, I don't question him at all. He probably knows exactly what he's talking about. But he did all the math with the sense, and he split fire on 2 exorcists and didn't kill either.
Ugh.
One exorcist had like a wound or 2 left, and the other one had like 8 left or something like that. One was like almost perfectly fine, and the other one was like basically on its last leg. So, and then all the sense basically got erased between like fusion pistols and fusion meltas, and then all 3 exorcists shot him as well. Plus, I charged him with the canoness with the whatever that.
Benediction. Or whatever.
Yeah, that super sword. Yeah. So that worked out real well. But yeah, no, I think if your sense come down and they don't get their points back, it's bad.
Oh, huge.
Yeah,
And that's the thing.
but your list doesn't have board control. So we were talking about it earlier, right? You got to design a list that can take advantage of the alpha. You got to design a list that can go second in at least the 4 deployments where you have some space to hide, right? So you can get away from the super aggressive alpha. You have to have both those elements. And then you kind of need a board control list because let's say you do play Raven Guard, right? But your opponent controls the board the majority of the game and gets these bonuses now because most of the bonuses are also just hold objectives.
Well, that's what I'm willing to do with the Centurions, especially if I'm going second, is I will put them in a board-centric space hiding and then try to take the board from there.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So
Centurions in cover are no joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I'm willing to play that game and go up. But I'm thinking that artillery is going to make a big comeback, especially with Guard being so strong.
Dude, I think Rose may be relevant again, you know? He likes to hit those like randomness, you know, like I played Leaf Blower, made my name epic, then found this great NID army and led America to their first gold ETC. I love everybody on the team. Chester is probably like one of my best friends on the team, but without Nick Rose, you guys have no chance of winning gold that year. And I know that's going to fill his ego, but it's just 100% true. Nobody knew what to do with that list. You guys got to pairings and people were like, what the? And then you just had Kopak play that Knight army.
That's back when Knight.
Yeah, that was crazy Knight Guard army.
It was
Blood Angels Knight and IG.
And that was when they had unnerved regen.
Yeah, unnerved regen for CP, and he just went to town on everyone.
Before it got the point nerf.
Yeah, Kopak just went into C3PO mode and like just did the calculations in his head. He's like,
just
this is
dominated, just dominated.
Yeah, so bad. So between those two, I mean, that was just gross. So no one knew what to do that year. But I mean, I think Nick can play Leaf Blower again. I think he will. After Moley just teaches him how to do it. I mean, if Ben Moley lived a mile away from me, I would still be amazing at 40K.
Oh, freaking be over at his house all the time.
Right?
Playing.
I mean, Ben Moley is so good at 40K that like 10 years can go in the future, and like everyone who's good at 40K would still be like, Ben Moley's the best 40K player. I think me and Nick got in an argument at LVO though. Brown was like, Richard might be one of the best 40K players. And then after I think maybe a minute of me talking about Ben Moley, Nick was like, yeah, what was I talking about? Never mind. I didn't say that.
No, but to come into the list on that though, I think that with the secondaries being probably you're just getting 12s.
Yeah.
And the primary being so strong, I think having artillery in your list might be the way to go.
Yeah, it could be. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, artillery, you could play artillery different too. It doesn't necessarily just have to kill everything on the board. It can also be somewhat aggressive if it needs to.
Well, I was looking at different things because I was thinking about doing an actual split, not having doctrines on Iron Hands, but just playing a Iron Hands board control type list with the 5/5 up with Pharaohs, bring lots of intercessors, but splashing in artillery pieces from guard.
Yeah, I mean, Lehman Russes can be aggressive artillery. They're not necessarily like sit back and shoot. Like, it doesn't all have to be Basilisk and Manicores. I mean, I do love the Manicore with 12 shots hitting on twos.
They're just so nice, though. Like, if you get those on, especially if you can get those in the boards where you take the objectives with them and just sit there the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good. Plus, you get cheap guys. You get screens out. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be – I think you're going to see a lot more armies that are not pure trying to take advantage of splashing in guard artillery type.
Yeah, I might do that. I might do that too.
You know what I mean? Things of that nature. Just because the traits are really strong right now. Like the Iron Hands traits, like so good. You know what I mean? The move and shoot. But you're gonna have to make some sacrifices so that you can take the board and deal that damage. Because a lot of times what's gonna happen is I shoot you up, I shoot Greg up, and you have a model or two left. You know, you got smaller squads. If I have enough artillery, I can just pound all those out.
Yeah.
So, you know, now maybe I keep getting the kill more.
Yeah.
And that's how I win that game by 2 or 3 points because I go, especially going second. Jeez. You
always know exactly how much to kill.
Exactly.
And now, by the way, it's super, super important. I remember this in the ITC. I read them as well before you read them today. I don't know if you covered it earlier, but the tabling thing is gone.
Correct. You just play through and you don't get
play
the bonus.
it out.
You don't get any of the bonuses anymore for
bonuses.
killing. So, like, for example, if you are going second and your opponent got 1 kill and they were like, all right, I got 1 kill. I'm good. I got at least 1. So I got that point. And now you know you need at least 1 to make sure they don't get kill more, but 2 will get you kill more, right? There's no incentive for you to go to 3 potentially, depending on how many units they have. But you don't want to overkill because if you
start whittling units down, but don't kill it.
Correct,
really.
because if you kill another unit,
right,
and then you get later in the game or you table or something like that, you can't get those extra kills.
Yeah, I did that against Lennon actually, and that's my semifinal game. I left multiples of the units with like 1 or 2 guys left, specifically so I could kill more.
Well, did you do that because you realized it, or did you do that because of was Manny Chima's game before that game, where he I heard he just killed everything on the board and then like couldn't kill the dread.
Yeah, I watched
So
that.
like
That game was
could
next to
never
mine.
get another kill after
Right.
that.
He literally killed him down too much, so it was the dread and characters, and
Yeah.
he never got kills ever again.
Yeah, but I think those dudes, the Florida guys, John and that team, I think they were smart enough to understand that.
Oh yeah.
And I think they would have just bum rushed the intercessors. They would have been like, "Oh, are you smart enough to not kill him? Well, we're gonna just rush at you then, right?" Like because they wanted them to die.
I literally killed him. Like I had multiple units of 1 and 2 and stuff like that, so I could kill it because I went first.
That's good.
I assaulted a bunch of stuff, and then I left all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's even more important now.
And then I started killing 1 and 2 so I could kill more.
Yeah, that's even more important now, especially in events like LVO in the future, right? Because not winning is not everything at LVO. LVO is now a winning plus battle point tournament. Because Brad was the most nervous person I ever saw in my entire life after Game 6. He's like, I swear to God, if I have to play a shadow round, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Well, that's because I'm a goddamn old man.
Yeah. And
I couldn't play another fucking game. My
yeah.
body wouldn't accept that.
Yeah, no, Brad was just
I
shutting
was just so
down.
dying.
Yeah.
I just don't even know if I could have played one more game.
I don't think you could have. I saw you after that Game
I
6.
was a
We went
dumpster,
out and
man.
you were bad.
Yeah.
So,
I was not in good shape. And
but yeah.
But luckily I was the number 2 seed, and that was the only people. What was the top 3 seeds were the only people that didn't have to.
No,
play
I
the
think
shadow.
3 did play, actually. I think it was just you and Naden out.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. I
Yeah.
think everyone else played. Pretty sure. I could be wrong. I think 3. If 3 didn't
'Cause
play,
I
I
think,
believe
like-
it was John Lennon. So he might not have played either. Actually, I think
Yeah.
3 of you guys actually didn't play. Yeah, I think
There was
you're
2 or
right.
3, yeah. Because I think they took the top like 15 or whatever to play.
It's supposed to be
in the shadow
top
round.
4 though, right? Top 4 were supposed
Top
to.
4
not
was supposed to,
play.
but I think they extended the shadow round out a little
Yeah.
bit because there was more undefeateds.
Got it. Yeah, I almost got there. Fell a
You
little
were-
short.
This close.
Yeah, it's all right. Better man won, so it's okay.
And then he had to
You were
play the
Brad Chester short.
You're a Brad Chester show.
No, I was actually shorter than Brad Chester. I lost to Fennel by a point.
He needed to literally move 2 characters behind a wall.
Yeah, but it was a great game. Very close, back and forth. So it was really fun. But yeah, and I didn't know Sisters well enough, to be honest. I had no business playing that kind
I
of
actually
army.
think that's your sister's army is going to do really well in this new ITC missions, though.
Yeah, so what I'm doing this year, so I'm going to try to do one more year of, I took off a year of 40K after when I got married and won the ITC, and then I got into AOS a little bit. Went on the AOS pro team with Bill Souza, the king of AOS in my opinion, and one of the greatest dudes in miniature wargaming.
Susan.
Suze.
Mr. William Suzanne.
Dude, I have not super amounts of fun with many people, but with that guy, it's just insanity.
He's good people.
He's good
Mhm.
people. And then kind of played a little bit here and there over the last 2 years, winning the team tournament stuff. But I think I'm going to go for it this year one more time, play some more singles. I think I'm going to try to go to BAO, try to play at Adepticon singles. That's already 2 more events than last
Are
year.
you leaning towards the sisters on that?
I don't know. So I think what I want to do is I'm probably going to have a kid soon. I'm talking about
Just
having a
throwing
kid.
that out?
Yeah, just throwing that out there. Like, probably going to have a kid in a year or 2.
I really hope that your wife's finding this out on a
Yeah,
podcast.
there's 0 chance my wife listens to any of this. She thinks this is all really stupid.
This is both.
Baby
This is
PJ.
true and true.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna try to. I think we're gonna try to have a kid soon. So we're talking about that. So this would be like kind of like my last year to go for it. And my hobby collection is ridiculously big. And what I'm thinking about doing
you
is
do have an insanity amount of.
oh
models.
I literally rent a storage locker to hold models.
It's just so crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So this year, what I think I'm going to do is every event I go to, the army I bring, I'm selling for like nothing, whatever I can get for it. Basically, I'm literally going to take the highest amount of money, and I don't care how much it is. I literally don't care. I just want to get rid of stuff, and just cycle through some of the armies I own. So I think I'm going to try to go to every event with a different list and go to as many events as I can.
It's gonna be hard with that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try to go to as many events as I can and just bring a new army every time and sell it every single time. That's going to be the goal. Just to get them out, take pictures of them and sell them to someone at the event or sell them online, whatever I got to do.
I did play. I mean, I can't say that that's super ridiculous because I did play 4 different armies last year in 2019.
I mean, I always play different lists. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I played Orcs, Eldar, Marines, 2 different types of Marines, and the hell else did I play? I played something else too.
Yeah, I think what I've always done in 40K for the most part is like when I play with friends or, I mean, I used to play a lot with back in the day with Aaron Towler and some of the guys from the Chicago area. Now I play mainly with Tony Malave and Elliot and some of the other guys who are on my kamikaze team. But typically what I've done in the past is like I'll throw like a net list up there, and we'll like test someone's army, someone's actual list versus a net list or versus something I came up with to see how it works.
I think that's actually important, by the way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
No, but I'm saying like, I don't like it when both players are playing test lists. Somebody has to play an established list versus what you're
correct.
trying to test.
Yeah, I'm usually playing someone who has an established list with something else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel a lot of people when they're play testing get false positives because what happens is I play my army that's not optimized against Greg's army that's not optimized because he's also trying to figure out what he wants to play.
Yeah, and you think it's better than it really is.
Exactly,
yeah.
because it's not. He hasn't optimized his list yet. So
yeah,
and then you think your list is better, and you get into the tournament and you realize, oh shit, I have 400 points of stuff I shouldn't have in my list.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I think that's a really good thing. I mean, everybody playing something that's semi-decent nowadays because of the fact that I need some water, because of the fact that you do have, like everybody, the internet's so powerful now. I mean, back in the day, back in the dark ages of Sparks and I, we literally they're just people weren't net listing. You know what I mean? So Spark style was.
It wasn't even that far back, man. I mean, this is pretty recent, actually. I would say 4 years ago, there was some net lists, but a lot of the competitive players were not in the business of consulting or selling services or trying to get views online.
Well, dude, they
were hiding it. A lot of people were just hiding their armies intentionally.
Sparks used to do the keep it secret, keep it safe. And new ideas that we were going to bring to tournaments.
I mean, back in the day, Sam Haynes, we held that for an entire year.
Yeah, well, we
purposely did not bring that list just so we could win the Adepticon team.
We did it with when we had Chaos, the two different lists we ran with the Corn Bikers and the
Slanesh Bikers.
And then the Slanesh and the Lieutenant. Basically, each time we had a new iteration, we wouldn't bring it to local RTTs. We'd only bring it to the major we were going to play in.
Dude, right. that's how 40K was for decades. I mean, that's just kind of, it's just changing now, right?
You know what's funny?
I mean, after LVO, I was a little shocked. So I don't know if I didn't put my list on LVO or if somehow my list didn't go up, but I had like easily 15 people reach out to me on Facebook going, hey, I saw you played Sisters. I saw you did well. Can I get your list? And like, then wanted to know more information. They wanted to know like how it worked and what they all would change and all that kind of stuff. And led to like 15 independent conversations, which I literally copied like whole paragraphs of responses and like saved it to a OneNote to like paste and put it in another chat to someone else.
Did you charge for that?
No, I don't charge for that. I don't have good advice. I'm not. It's all Brad's. That's Brad's area of expertise.
Alan was like, I rolled dice.
Yeah. Don't you just take Brad's advice and then go sell it?
No. That's someone else you're thinking of. That's not me.
Oh.
Ooh.
But my thing with that is what the hell was I going with this? Oh, the secret stuff. Oh, I wanted to tell you.
I don't know. We typically get off on tangents.
But we were talking about that. You keep it a secret. Do you know that so all the Brohammer guys and a bunch of them had played in the charity event. That was held basically right before LVO.
And they knew about that damn Leviathan army.
Yeah.
They just didn't bring it.
Exactly. They brought all of them brought Imperial Fists. And they were basically throwing a red herring out there to say, this is what our team's bringing. To have people try to get ready for that.
Yeah.
And they all brought.
Which they psyched you guys all out. I went by, we had that practice weekend. You guys were all like, oh, fists are going to be a big deal. And I'm just like, you guys might be getting played.
Remember with DTC, my rule was that you couldn't play your army in the singles event?
Well, you have to keep in mind that the Florida guys all have been playing 40K. I mean, not all. I think the dude, Richard, is new.
He's new.
But,
this is basically his first real tournament.
Yeah, but that community, though, has roots, man. Has roots. They've been playing a long time.
Well, they got like people like Parker and stuff.
Of course.
Parker's
been playing since
the beginning of time.
Yeah. The dude's he probably just plays while watching the border.
I played Parker in the finals of a GT in 2000. So
yeah. We've all been around. Some of us have been around for a long time.
I think I met Parker when I was like 14.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, 20 years ago, I was playing in a finals with him.
Yeah.
And you were.
I'm just saying that community is strong, and they know that stuff, Greg. They remember how it was with keeping things secret. And you know what? I mean, not to like bash anyone who's doing consulting, but I think all of the different groups that are doing services and trying to help out people and give them lists, I would bet you $1 million that whatever information they're giving you is the last good information they had.
Yeah,
they're
not
off
the-
to something new, and they have something better, and they're not going to tell you that
Yes
thing.
and no, because I think that I'm gonna counter that just a little bit on that, because I think that a lot of people that are asking for consulting aren't the people that are trying to win LVO and BAO.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
think there's a
That's
lot
a-
of people asking for help that are like 3 and 3 players or 3 and 2 players.
But I'm
at
saying that
events.
you got a guy that like really
2 and-
loves Ultramarines,
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
that works too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
those
love
people wanna-
Space Wolves. How do I
Yeah,
play it?
That's what I'm saying. You want they want to optimize. Also, that guy might not have a ton of time for playtesting. He doesn't have a group. The guy there's tons of people that have talked. I've gotten a lot of messages in the messenger, shit like that.
Yeah, I know.
And I was telling you, but there's a lot of guys that are like, hey, I don't have like a good playtest group, and I want to get better with Army X. You know, those are the people that are asking for stuff. That's where I think it is. I don't think that the if you're looking to
Does anyone offer like a boot camp weekend? Like, yo,
I'm having one next week.
if you're but are you charging people to come?
You're probably gonna buy me some Boston Market.
Wait, I'm coming.
You should.
Oh, okay. I gotta come down here again.
I mean, I'll have a bunch of people here. We're gonna play the shit out of games.
Oh, okay. Didn't you do that a couple weeks back too?
I did one before LVO.
Okay.
I just like it. I love playing the game. But the thing is great is, and I think this is why everybody should do this. Where's my camera? I got to look right in the camera to say this. When you're playtesting, don't be afraid to instantly reset the game if you've made a mistake. Like a game.
We do that all the time.
Yeah. Like if you
That's
realize.
an old ETC trick, man. That's 2012.
Well, you get more for your buck. You get more bang for your buck, man. You just, if
of
you go,
course.
especially if you make a
have you ever
deployment.
have you ever seen anybody who just doesn't want to reset that game? They want to.
We can't talk. My
They
God.
just want to see what happens. Like, let's say you're in a particular place with like a bark star, and they're like, "No, I got this game."
Oh my God, that was
Right? And they're
worst playtesting
just
game
getting
ever.
trounced, and they're like, "No, I got this, man. Don't reset."
It's so weird. Again, don't be afraid to pick up your stuff.
Yeah,
You get
of
more-
course.
you get more
you're
models
right,
'cause you
you're
can talk
right.
through
I'm
it.
just playing around. You're right.
But man, that's actually my bit of advice for this particular podcast is when you're playtesting, get as many reps as possible. So if you make a huge mistake or your opponent makes a huge mistake, just reset that game.
Yeah.
You've now learned from that mistake and play it again.
I think for ITC, I'm gonna definitely consider BAO. I kind of want. I want to see if I could fit Blood Angels in something.
Dude, I think Blood
I'm
Angels
super
are super nasty
considering.
in the
I'm
thing.
super considering Blood Angels in something. I did hear. I'm not really too in tune with the news, but I did Andrew Gagnon play a Sisters Blood Angels army recently?
He played Straight Sisters, I think.
Oh, Straight Sisters. I
played-
thought
you
it
know,
was Sisters Blood Angels.
You and him are the only two, I think, Straight Sisters at LVO.
No, he didn't play Straight Sisters at LVO. He played Iron Hands at LVO with Sisters.
Really?
Yeah, he had Chaplain Dreadnoughts, like 3 of them. And he had really good reasons for it, too. It was very clear that he playtested the army, and I didn't. Because after I finished LVO, I was like, dude, Exorcists are not reliable. And they're super liability. Like, if they could shoot without seeing, then that'd be different. But
Oh,
the
just
fact
get
that they
picked
need
up
line
half
of
the
sight,
time.
the fact that they need line of sight, they're a liability. And they give away some points,
they
too.
do have super high toughness, though.
They do. They're not bad, but like I think
mean,
taking a
for the-
Chaplain Dreadnought that's not targetable is probably better.
The Chaplain Dreadnought's kind
Yeah.
of boss mode at that point in time
Yeah.
because he just gets free shots the entire game.
Until he's completely irrelevant and GW goes no more.
Well, I mean, you can't even get the model.
I mean, if anyone needs a Chaplain Dreadnought, let me know.
I
have a
mean,
couple
you
extra.
have the Allen services of you just magically making models appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just own a lot of models. That's all I'm saying. There's just a ton
All
of them.
Of the models.
Yeah. Well, anyways, list changes that I'm considering with Sisters are definitely dropping the Exorcists and seeing if I can ally something in. Ally something in that has more of an alpha. Because the Sisters don't have an alpha strike, really. I mean,
But the thing is if you're not playing the alpha, I actually think that I might go away from even the alpha because sometimes the alpha's a trip.
But what if you get first? What if your opponent gives you first turn then?
Then
And you
take,
can't do anything.
That's when I take board. Then I take board. But what I'm trying to do is, I think that I want to take an army that has artillery, and takes the board.
Okay.
So that way I get my kill
Artillery
one.
gets your alpha.
I might not get my kill more the turn one.
Yeah, artillery's your alpha.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a super strong like game-winning alpha,
But I'm going to go board
but it's
centric. I'm
reliable.
going to try to take more. I'm going to try to consistently hold more.
Yeah.
The entire game.
that makes sense.
And-
I mean, I could definitely put some artillery in my Sisters list. So, I mean, especially for if I play Sisters at Adepticon, I'm definitely going to look into that because I found out, Jesus. So you know how everything's locked for the champs?
Yep.
Yeah. So Sacred Rites is either you roll the 2 dice every single game or you pick the one you want for every single game. It's not like you can't decide. So there's no point to even take up your sister's army at that point. Because I basically always roll 2d6 unless I play a psychic balanced, like a psychic focused army, and then I immediately take +3 to deny. Right? Because if I can with sisters I can get a -3 on you and a +3 on me. That seems pretty good.
Strong.
Yeah, it's strong. So I can easily deny like a lot of powers with that. Plus with the strat on a 4+, I can guarantee one, or not guarantee, but do pretty good odds of stopping.
I was actually thinking of different combos because, like, for instance, Grey Knights are lethal, like crazy lethal.
Yeah. I mean, survivability with them hasn't necessarily been totally fixed yet. That's why I think a lot of people are leaning on those paladins.
You have to. I think you basically start any Grey Knights list off with 10 paladins because it's the only thing that's going to stay.
People are running double paladins because it stays,
I've
right? Because Grey Knights they don't have resilience, right? They got this huge glass cannon punch of the mortal wounds, and I've seen a couple people in Chicago be playing the MSU style with like a ton of strikes, and it hits really hard. But then it just gets gone.
You pick the strikes
you just
up.
pick the strikes up. It's just 1 wound, 3+
Double
save.
Paladin's nice because actually you can actually put 1 on the board and 1 in reserve.
Correct. That's what everyone's doing with that list, I think. I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually seen it played, but that's my assumptions of how they're playing it.
Yeah, that army comes down hard. I don't know if the artillery probably doesn't fit in that army because of the fact that you need.
There's so many points too.
That's what I'm saying. They're so expensive. So,
Yeah,
when you're bringing them, it's got to be you got to really use your synergy and your points.
I'm curious, do Thousand Sons put out more mortal wounds than Grey Knights, or do Grey Knights put out more mortal wounds than Thousand Sons?
Well, Grey Knights can choose because they have their God damn it, what are they called?
Tides.
They're tides, yeah. I just call them Grey Knight Doctrines.
I'm an Ideneth player. I know all about tides.
Yeah. But they can double up, so they're basically doing 2 per.
Yeah,
on the
that's
mortals.
true. Yeah.
So they're probably more consistent.
But now Chaos has all those pluses to. I mean, you can literally get like I think you can get a +6 on a guy in Chaos.
Well, you can do.
You can do Infernal Gateway.
They have more targeted stuff though. Like basically, if you're
Yeah.
playing Chaos, you have more powers that you have.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new powers that are like target a unit, and every unit within a certain range also takes.
Yeah, but
mortal wounds.
most of them have to be the closest unit to target first, and then everything around it.
I don't think Infernal Gateway does. Does it? It's closest
Closest to
unit.
12.
Oh man.
The thing is you can target. They have like 5 or 6 powers that you can just straight up target characters.
Yeah, those are really good too.
Yeah, I mean you got Infernal Gaze, you have the other Gaze, you have
and they got a little. I mean, I think they got a bump with that the new
the cults.
Yeah.
Some of them they have some pretty cool powers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have some. I mean, I think every Chaos army should probably just run a supreme command of
Thousand Sons. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, like you take an Alpha Legion or.
I mean,
like
it doesn't even matter what you
Sons.
play. I think like every Chaos army almost. You basically take Aramon and 2 princes, basically 3 guys.
Yeah.
Aramon and 2 other bros.
Yeah.
And you basically take those because they're so good with the +6 range for 1. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Just being able to spam smite at staying at 5. That's huge. I mean, that's like the basis of your army. I think there's tons of ways to build Chaos right now. Everybody's really on the Possess Bomb and stuff like that. I think they're really good, but I think there's just multiple ways that you can make.
How does Grey Knights affect that Possess Bomb though?
That's the problem.
I think Grey Knights
TJ was actually
gonna.
I was gonna get with TJ because he just started testing that. I don't know how it went. This was like 2 days ago or whatever. He was trying to test against Grey Knights, and Grey Knights can put the nastiness on Demon or Chaos. So I think that I don't know how the Chaos list is gonna withstand Grey Knights coming into the meta because Grey Knights are not. They will put hurt on you.
Yeah.
So that's an army that's its thing on that, or that is going to be meta changing, defining.
Yeah, I'm not looking to play Grey Knights necessarily, but I do kind of want to sell my Grey Knights.
Stop trying to fucking sell all your models, goddammit.
I do have a lot of Grey Knights to sell.
Maybe I'll have to actually jump in the championships now.
Oh, actually, Greg, you have every model that you need to play that we just said. What we just talked about. To tell you the truth, Green Knight still has probably 2 of the most cost-efficient, great characters in all of the Imperium with Drago and Voldus. Those guys have casting, beats, survivability.
Wounds, everything, yeah.
Yeah, they're great, man.
Toughness, yeah. I mean, Drago's always been really good. He was even good back in the old days of Grey Knights.
Just doing that he's smoking that warp dust, yeah.
Drago, my man.
Yeah, dude's insane. But anyways, I think I'm not considering Grey Knights for mine, but if I do play Sisters at BAO, I'll probably look at either artillery or maybe some Blood Angels inside. I think some kind of first turn, more of a first turn presence that can't be stopped by hiding is really what I'm going to be looking for.
I think you need at least 3 big pieces of artillery.
Yeah, I would agree. I think,
And when I say artillery, though,
or
I'm not meaning a Thunderfire. I mean like something that does like the Thunderfires are great. Don't get me wrong; they do damage. The
no,
consistent.
you're talking about like the Manicore with the new abilities.
Yeah, I'm talking
like
about something
the
that
Basilisk
that can just pick up a unit.
Yeah,
by
Basilisk,
itself.
Manicore, those are pretty solid. You know what I wish was better? That's not good. The Death Strike missile.
Oh my god!
It's so
You
much
just
fun.
like the model itself is insanity. On that.
I love the Death Strike missile.
I
It
do too.
literally looks like
It
three
is.
3D.
it literally looks like an ICBM.
Right?
It's so funny when you
But it's
fought
not
against
good.
somebody that had like 3 of those things.
Yeah, you can take 3 in a Talon army.
I fought against
Keep 'em
3
all
with
off the
my
board.
walking Wraith Guard list.
I'm assuming the Talaron fluff is just a couple guys like sweeping. Somewhere.
Bro, why are you so against IG Fluff? Last time you were talking about this too with IG Fluff.
I hate him.
Jesus, you need.
They're regular guys. We're literally talking about supernatural
That's
creatures.
why the fluff
and
is
it's
amazing, bro. That's
Unless
why the
you're
fluff.
Catechins.
Unless you're Catechins are amazing, by the way. If you were in the 41st millennium,
Catechin are literally just Imperial guards that
Listen,
took steroids.
they're like jungle fighters, bro. They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator. That's
Sly
what Catechin
Marble
are.
with the Carney in the can.
Carney in the can.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Yeah, come on.
If you were in the
One
21st
man
millennium,
army.
Brad, you would quiver and cower like in a corner crying. These guardsmen are walking amongst
I would not,
because
because I would be already getting
They're
my
fighting.
gene scene put in, and I would be a space marine, and I would finally
No,
be
you're
tall.
not tall enough.
I would be after they put the gene scene
No,
in.
it doesn't work for you.
It would 100%. I would
They
be 2
literally
of them.
don't give
your
it to
kidneys-
midgets.
your-
I would get 2 gene seeds, and I would also be
100% they would look at you and go, "This guy's clearly a dwarf.
and I
Let's
would-
put this guy in a
because
squad."
I would be in the
army."
squad army.
Yeah, he'd be
But
squats,
it wouldn't matter because I
discontinued.
would join the Iron Hands, and I would say, "Give me all mechanized parts."
No.
It's because I'm a goddamn old man. And that's why I would be in a dreadnought.
Oh,
They
yeah,
would literally, I would
you could
walk
put you in
up,
a dreadnought,
and they
that's
would
true.
instantly
Yeah.
just stuff me in the
I
dreadnought.
think we would
Yeah.
just gut you.
Or
into be
you'd be a
servitor.
dread knight. You'd be a dread knight in one of those like baby harnesses.
Ooh,
Yeah, that would fit good on you.
I would definitely.
Yeah,
like the
no,
baby harness.
guardsmen are amazing, dude. They're some of the coolest dudes ever. Come
They
on,
are
man.
not.
Do you watch Saving Private Ryan and go like, "This movie's stupid"?
I would if my option was I could either be Tom Hanks or I could be Angron.
Guardsmen are like even more brave than Saving Private Ryan people.
Because they die in the billions.
That's true. do
They
have
are
abilities.
basically, I don't think they even name those guys. They just go, "You, guardsman number 4,624, platoon B."
IDs. Just
Yeah.
IDs.
Did you
They
just
just-
say 4,000?
No,
Like,
from that particular
yeah.
platoon. Not, I mean, just that
Yeah.
one. Because they basically give you a barcode and scan you and just send you in. You get a las gun and a vest.
All right, back to topic.
So
We're
they're
not
like
gonna
the
convince
Russians
Brad
of 40K.
They are definitely the Russians. Well, that's why the Imperium wins, because they just have more people. We breed like rabbits.
this. Imperium doesn't have a lot of people. That's
They
true.
have more people. Everybody has better tech.
Ultramarines,
Literally,
largest chapter ever.
everybody has more technology than the Imperium. All of the races are better than us. We just have more.
The Tyranids say no.
The Tyranids actually not in our sector. They might have more somewhere
Yeah,
else.
They have
but
more somewhere else. They're outside
Yeah.
of our galaxy.
they keep coming in and getting their ass kicked.
They're crazy.
They should be able to adapt. They just lose. All the stories are just them losing.
I don't know if they're all them losing.
It's
Some-
when have they won?
Yeah, I'm saying in the Tyranid book they have a couple of stories, but like every single Marine chapter has 50 stories about how like 3 dudes beat up like the hive mind.
I'm pretty sure all those stories are like 3 key guys beat up a bunch of Tyranids while their entire chapter was brutally decimated to the last
Well,
man.
if you kill every single guy that you were fighting, you can tell whatever fucking story you want because no one's there to refute you. You're like, "Hey man, there was never any other Marines here. It was just me and my 2 buddies." You don't mention the thousands of
That's
dudes that
funny.
are dead around. So as far as talking about the list that I play with the new ITC missions, things that I might change to, I really want to focus. I'm going to get a lot of playtest games in with these different things, different formats and stuff like that. Right now, I've been really focused. I played a lot of games in Raven Guard, so I'm a little adverse, a
think
little
it's-
bit.
I think it's time for you to jump to White Scars now. I heard that's a really good strategy.
Yeah.
Like you
jumping
just
no reason.
you super like cultivate a strategy, a plan, a tactic, and then just jump on White Scars.
jump on something else.
I think you should actually show Ben Moli how Salamanders is played.
Don't you dare bring up that man's
Ooh.
name. insane.
I might go down there and just
Go ahead.
put the pizza on it. But no, but I'm thinking it's hard to leave that army you've played a lot of because you get all the reps, you know them inside and out.
Can't
But-
relate.
Yeah, exactly. But I enjoy having lots of. I feel like an army that I play lots with, I can pull wins out of games that I might not have because I've played enough with them that I know all their tricks.
Yeah, that's like me with orcs.
As I'm saying, you played a lot with them, so you know like the little ins and outs, the
Yeah.
intricacies of everything. But I think that more board centric, I like an Iron Hands infantry list with artillery is something I'm going to be looking at. I've actually been making Snigs. I've been working with Snigs a lot on the BA list, and I think those guys have like lots of traction. I don't think we've got the final list of it yet, but like their characters and synergy are just crazy. Like those guys coming out of Impulsors with the Sanguinor with
Freaking
+1
crazy.
with full rerolls. You can do Astaroth, or a Chapter Master like Dante or whatever. But you take one unit of Death Company, which gives them an extra attack, and then you make one of Veterans for a CP. They also are getting it, and you give all of them a special weapon, a Power Fist, a Thunder Hammer, whatever. Those guys are getting 5 and 6 attacks a piece with the buffs on that.
Yeah, they're legit, bro.
Yeah, and it's crazy, man. And everybody's +1 to wound, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
wounding on
everyone's +1.
3s and 2s and whatever. And the special weapon guys are just crushing
That's
shit.
why I'm talking about Blood Angels with sisters.
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of where I'm leaning.
And the thing is, I think those guys, but I think they play really well with others. I think
Yeah.
you basically have like, effectively, I think all of that what I just said is like.
Well, I think
12
if you go pure Blood Angels, you even get +1 more attack.
Yeah, but it's turn 3, and then you don't get any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like the game's so front loaded as far as that taking the board. So if you do like 4 Impulsors with units of Intercessors and characters, I think you're at 1,300 and some points. So you've got 600-700, like 500 or 600 points of other shit you could put in the army, and I think that allying something else, some artillery, someone your sister, you know what I mean, like other way around, but just you have the opportunity to do more.
All right, man. I think we talked through the ITC a lot, so I think we'll see what decisions we make, and we'll recap and bring some of the learnings we have between now and then, and talk about what we're playing for the season. So
All right.
sounds good.
Remember, kids, play by intent. Roll your dice in the open. 40K Jesus will bring you all your Forge World wishes. I'm out.
See ya.